All right. Glad we're here. So let's connect to our breath. And breath becomes this way of coming back to our body. So as we keep coming back to our body, not only do we inhabit our body, we live in our body, but we get to be our body. This awake, living body, this conscious, luminescent, brilliant living body. We get to be it. This consciousness is an amazing thing, okay? As we breathe, we can sense with great precision and depth where this body is awake, and we start to experience that firsthand. The body is awake, the body is intelligent, the body is wisdom. We're going to do some sound just to get the energy moving, to little warm up for not only the voice but for the energetic body. And I'm going to start off with a low to high, almost like a siren. And what's really key when we do any kind of work with the voice, sounding with the voice, is that there is no strain. There's no strain. I'm not throttling the voice, pushing through the voice. And just one other reminder, this does not have to be loud. Okay, so loud is not the objective sound, then sounding through the body is. So I'm going to just start from a lower tone where I can, and just, it'll escalate. We'll do 3 rounds. So if you need to see or hear the first one, let me get a little bit unhooked so this isn't too jarring. We'll do a couple more rounds. And now just breathing that, any shift, any palpable shift, energetic shift. Energy is palpable, just subtly palpable. Let's feel what started to get moving or lightening up or shifted for you. And I really enjoy going through the body in a kind of triune way. So this thirds way. So we'll give 2 rounds to buzzing up, getting that resonance, that reverberation, that vibration in the pelvis, abdomen, low back. Okay. You can go with universal Om if you like that. There's some beautiful mouth shapes that actually help us focus and feel that breath in the lower centers of the body. Let's start right there. 2 rounds, humming, buzzing, sounding, oming, your selection, into this lower third of the body, abdomen, pelvis, back, ground. Here we go. And so a little finesse direction for this middle third, the heart and lungs. When we create this sound, when we generate or intone this through the body, consider that the tone is a lot like a like one of those reset sighs. So it's got that quality of I'd known an individual who was a floor trader back when, and he'd taken voice lessons to be able to hawk and chest and intone his voice in a unique way to be heard over the din of all the other floor traders. And some of those pressures to amplify are really chest rigidifying. So I just bring that story up. It's not a chesty, but a. So I'm going to take 2 breaths to feel the tone in and through the lungs and the heart. So there's that gesture of sighing, softening, relaxing with sound. Now, this is just something I'm still playing with and investigating. But there's a particular kind of chanting, overtone chanting. And I'm going to place this next sound in the head. And if you're not familiar with overtones, sometimes you can just kind of cup, kind of a little ear maneuver, and you can even start to hear just those harmonics. For this one, I'm going to aim to feel the sound in the head, in the nose. So this may have a real real nasally back behind the bridge, sinus, pituitary area. So this is where I'll be toning in and through the body. You can try big hands around the backs of the ears to really try to feel or sense into those overtones. Here we go. Sometimes generating those overtones are easier on the vocal structure than trying to get a really high pitch. Nonetheless, we'll reconnect to breath. Me, the sounding through the body feels a lot like putting the clothes out on the clothesline for the wind to flap and unfurl and lighten and breeze up. Let's switch the cross of our legs. We'll be working shoulder shrugs, so going right into contractions. Allow the arms to just relax beside you, inhaling underneath the shoulder girdle, the blades, underneath the vocal structure. And pausing right there, squeeze the tops of your shoulders, almost like gathering, bundling all that attention, that energy toward the spine, toward the base of the neck, and exhale as you squeeze. Move that kind of wad of that constellation of energy and mass down away from the base of the neck. Inhale, letting go of the voluntary squeeze. And squeeze the middle parts of the shoulder blades, the upper, the middle parts. Exhale, kind of constellating. And move that constellation of mass, of energy, of intensity, move it down the spine. Just did all of this intoning, moving up the core and up the spine, and now we're starting to move these contractions and feeling down the heart, down the spine. Inhale. And now find about the middle of your back or the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Exhaling, squeeze. And move that constellated mass and energy and choiceful contraction down the spine. Good. We're going to do one more round on our own. So we're starting at the top and moving down your pace. Just to breathe and to move and to unpack some of that shoulder blade stuff. You'll straighten your right leg. And the move here is like internal rotation. It's a lot like how, I guess, swimmers may dive into the water. So there's this. But I may need a little bit of assistance to grab onto that foot. So let's say I'm not grabbing the outer edge of my right foot with my left hand. Then I'll just bring a strap into play. Okay. I'm going to give a little bit of strap for myself, as I fully intend to slightly lean back so that I can almost let the ribs move differently in relation to the shoulder blade. Okay. So again, the left hand is connecting to the outer edge of the right foot or to a loop. Okay. Inhale into that left side rib cage. And exhaling, you can increase that slight internal rotation. It's kind of like thumb down. It's the turn of hand that turns the thumb down. And you feel what that does in your lat. That usually stretches some of the lat and back muscle. And just a little nuanced piece, I'm placing my right hand on the ground. And so for these next few breaths, I'm not so much rounding my spine, but I'll push my rib cage slightly back away from my foot. Keeping that inner right leg engaged. And of course, you can relax the neck down and even a little to the right. Good, and we'll release. We'll change sides. So when we set the left leg out, I'm connecting my right hand to my left foot, and I'm doing that in a thumb down way or internal rotation of the shoulder. Again, I'm not going for a fold, I'm going for these lats and this shoulder stuff. It's like I'm thinking of this more of like a side bend variation. Just exposing the area under the right shoulder blade. Inhaling, expand the ribs. And exhaling, just leaning back a little bit. Really spread the breath into those lungs. The lungs are alive. Exhaling as if with that gesture of sighing, relaxing, letting those lungs almost engender that gesture of, oh. In a lot of ways, those lungs are a really profound emotional center of the body. There's great unburdening when we can kind of let the artifacts move, let the artifacts go. There you go. And then we'll release. There we go. I hope this is feeling nice around the lungs. Let's lie back. We'll be setting up with a roll nearby and a block nearby. We'll start with these elbow to knee variations where we internally rotate the thigh. When I turn my thigh internally, or my hip, it turns my toes inwardly. I think the biggest challenge when we're doing these on our own is to move only the thigh bone and not the whole entire back and pelvis. So one of the objectives here is to create a distinction between leg and pelvis. So actually, let me talk us through a little detail. This may help. Let the head remain on the ground for these. Place your hands on your hips so your triceps are just on the ground, like hands on hips. I'm a little teapot. All right. Inhale into the low belly and the low back, right between your hands. Then you can curl the tailbone. Exhale, reach the right leg straight up and rotate that thigh bone inwardly. And your hands are on your hips to detect any motion in the pelvis. We're keeping the pelvis steadily connected to the ground, pulsing up to that right heel, and now draw the low belly down. Good. Inhale, bend the right knee. We'll keep the head down for these. Curl tailbone. The hands just help us feel the hips remaining steadily in place. Exhale, the left leg reach up. Now rotate just the thigh, feeling that the hips and the back stay quite steady. Get pulse up through that left heel. Pull low belly down. We'll do about 4 more each side. Inhale, bend left knee. Curl tailbone. Exhale, the right heel reaches up. Rotate the thigh bone inwardly, and I'm reaching up and then letting that recoil. Pelvis doesn't really move. Thigh bone does. Pull low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. Curl tailbone. Exhale, the left leg reach up. Rotate that thigh bone inwardly. Pulse, or just reach up through the heel and just let it recoil. Reach and recoil. Reach. Pull low belly down. All right, you do the final 2 on each side on your own. If it feels like the motion of the leg takes the pelvis for a ride anyway, it's okay. Just notice that we're just acknowledging that we feel that, like, oh, my leg seems to pull my pelvis, or I seem to want to turn or twist my low back as I'm moving this thigh bone about. Yeah, keep that back on the ground. There you go. In theory, curling the tailbone would be sufficient abdominal pressure to keep the back and the pelvis absolutely steady or stable, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we're just using our hands and create some extra sense perception Or what is my pelvis actually doing? What's really happening, pelvis? Good. So we're going to flip a little bit back and forth. Turn onto a side so we can press onto elbows and knees. I didn't forget about that roll or that block, but and today when we set up dolphin, let's go palms up. Now, a lot of times I like to stick a little object between my palms. If those shoulders are snug, there's a tendency for the hands to kind of scissor toward each other like little windshield wipers. Push with the backs of the forearms, the backs of the hands. Inhale between the shoulder blades. Exhale, smoothly press the knees off the ground, entering dolphin. Inhaling between the lungs, underneath the spine. Those nerves in that upper back, they feed not only the shoulder, but the lungs, the heart. And exhaling, press with the forearms, draw or pull with the legs. So lifting the low back bones and the mass of the pelvis away from the mid-spine. There you go. That's it. Mm-hmm. Good. I'm feeling this awake body. And we're not only keep returning to the body, we're not only inhabiting the body, but our being is this body. And this final 1 or 2 breath here. Lengthen those ribs away from the armpits. So as you're exhaling, those ribs are moving, being drawn down. Lengthen them away from the collar, away from the armpits. That's it, Tara, that's it. And let's release. We'll set the knees down. Please, arms get a rest. We'll return to lying on back. Grab your roll. Now, same with the roll, you can play around with this internal rotation. However, when you do it with both legs, you may feel it in the small of your back more acutely. So we'll start with the legs up, our legs and our torso, basically a right angle. Inhale into the low back. With that little bit of abdominal pressure, there's the intent of keeping or holding that low back to the ground so we're not swaying or swiveling. Squeeze the thing and just slightly intone that internal rotation. Curl tailbone, exhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. A little internal rotation, that's something. And reach up through those inner legs, the fibers, the muscles, the insides of the feet. Pull the low belly down. And then inhaling, set the head down, releasing the squeeze. Holding that, apply the squeeze. You can apply a slight internal rotation. Curl tailbone, exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Reach up through the insides of the feet, the big toe side. Pull low belly down. Inhale, set head down. We'll just do a few more. Squeeze the thing, curl tailbone. Exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Pull low belly down as you keep stretching or lengthening the legs toward the sky. Good. Last couple on your own. Now let that squeeze help you to engage those muscle fibers, straightening the legs. They may not straighten, but you start to move in that direction, and there can be some intensity involved with that. So I squeeze the roll, but then I use the squeeze to get a straightening effect. So yeah, exactly. I'm opening up to the backs of those knees. Those are our lymph node areas. There you go. So we got to move that lymph. And then set the feet down, set the roll off to the side, and we're setting up for lying spinal twist. So hug the right knee toward your chest and turn to your left. Oftentimes, I'll have us straighten that other leg. In this case, it's the left leg. You may want to play with bending that leg, bending at the knee rather. So it's almost like I'm pulling my left heel closer to my butt. Letting that whole deep breath move from the from the lower abdomen all the way up to the chest and the armpit area. Now do this very there's a teeny little move that becomes available with the bending of the left leg. And it's almost like I'm lifting my left knee ever so slightly away from the ground. That little internal rotation, and sometimes that can just adjust or feel really nice on the low back or the sacrum. There you go. And we'll release, we'll change sides. I'll describe it again on the other side. So to preface this, first, left leg hugged in, we're turning onto the right side, lying spinal twist. To preface this little move I'm describing, we did a bunch of stuff already for internally rotating the leg. If I bend my right knee, so if I pull my right heel just a little bit closer to my butt, I'm still in a lying spinal twist. And then I enact as if lifting the right knee off the ground. Not big move, very tiny. I'm intoning that internal rotation. You may also feel there's less pressure on the knee, there's more pressure on the outer right ankle. It's not a big thing, it's just I'm active with the bottom leg, and that can be really nice on the low back. Okay. Just making, just letting that breath kind of wash through there. Good. Let's release that side. That's good. That's plenty. When you come back onto your back, we're setting up for bridge. So if you're able to find that little inner leg, that slight internal rotation, it may help you just get some new discoveries going through your legs and sacrum. The feet are in parallel, fingertip distance away. Moving on exhale, we'll shift the tailbone up. A mid-spine. Feel free to work with or without a block in bridge. And breathing from that pelvis to armpit way, that sensing through the whole trunk of body. Left foot, plug it into the earth. Press. Inhale, pick the right knee toward the chest. Exhaling, reach it skyward. And setting the right foot down, we'll trade sides. Inhale the left foot up. You want a little bit more kind of access through the back of the leg and the Achilles. You can strongly pull the toes toward your nose. There you go. Okay, and we'll set that left foot down. We'll be exiting bridge. Press pelvis off block and begin your descent. Okay. When you've turned over, when you've pressed up, I want to describe this chest opening move. It's the one that appears like forearm balance. It's the one that is a back bend. And it's the one that we can do in two ways. Let me show you what they each look like. What we tend to visit more frequently is the, it looks like forearm balance or dolphin on the wall. However, the little detail here is we are going for that chest articulation. So if you are kicking up, have your knuckles very close to the wall. Clasp your hands. That's an important detail. We'll clasp our hands for this move. And then you may or may not get your butt to the wall, but that's the arc. As you push the chest away from the wall. All of that internal rotation of the thigh that we primed will help you kind of spiral and reach those legs up the wall. I find that inner leg has a lot to do with those deep back muscles, QL, and so it's really good low back medicine. Now, if you're not kicking up, here's your option. Set it up just like dolphin at the wall. And when you press up, it's not a vertical torso, but I'm arcing the chest toward the wall. And I am involving that internal rotation and lifting up through both sit bones. Okay. We need to come down, step down. All right, so there's two ways to go about this. We'll carve out some moments. Plan to explore. We'll give it 6 to 10 breaths. Okay, so if you're kicking up, clasp hands, put the knuckles really close to the wall. You'll be kicking up and gradually moving the butt toward the wall and then up the wall. So we are inducing or invoking a back bend and a chest opener. deep breath. You've got this great position where we can feel the body is alive around the heart, around the shoulders. It may take a little dose of persistence to want to stay in and stay with the multitude of other sensations around the shoulders. Mm-hmm. All right. And of course, when you decide you're complete and you're readying to exit, remember we're exiting from a back bend, so slide those heels up the wall. So, kind of moving out of that back bend, just very patiently lengthening through the spine before stepping out and stepping down. Great. And then we'll move back. Standing at the top of mat, feet rather close together, hands on hips. I've got thumbs pointing towards spinal cord. Turn this way. Oops. And a slight squeeze of elbow toward elbow, standing back bend. Inhale, shift some of that weight into your heel. Press down with the hands and the thumb. Lift the chest up. Exhaling, keep those elbows just slightly tweezed back. Thumbs pressing down. We'll give it a few more breaths. So just helping to telescope the spine, just creating lots of luxurious space. And release. With the help of your breath, it's really cool to feel into all of those segments and areas of the spine. Chair pose, inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up. As you bend more, you can help those upper back muscles work more. Exhale, fold. And if you're back tender or cautious, you can always keep your hands on your shins so the fold remains kind of minimal. Monkey. Inhale, collar away from lap, and set the hands down. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. Pulling the shoulders away from the neck, and we'll lower all the way down. Cobra. Reach back through inner legs. Inhale. The tailbone shifts down. Pulling. So creating a lot of just loving space for that low back. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. And I want to describe something about the low back. We can work with that throughout. Inhale, step the right foot forward, warrior one. So every time we're moving into cobra and these back bends today, I'm going to show you with my hands. Pretend this is my vertebra, my backbone, my low backbone. Okay. I want you to feel for releasing and softening on the inside of that spine. So where the guts and the spine share wall, that's a really sweet place to direct our softening gesture. Okay, inhale, we'll pick the arms up here in this warrior one. And then exhaling as you lift, feel for softening on the interior side of your spine. Many of us have a pretty good sense of the exterior of the spine, the skin side, and those really big kind of muscles, those spinal muscles and those lats. I just want to make sure that we have a sense of the interior side of the spine as well. Twisting warrior, exhaling the left elbow over the right thigh. And so allowing, how does our consciousness, our feeling awareness reach right where the guts are connected to the spine? Because we have our disc there, that's the belly, the body of that spine bone. And all of our viscera, all of our innards are connected to the interior of that spine. How do I bring my breath right in there? Oh. Inhaling, unwind. We'll set that left knee down on a little extra padding. Please. Heel to butt lunge. Okay. Left hand, grab left foot. And feel for lifting the chest. Softly away from the pelvis. And release. Setting the left foot down, we'll back up slightly for twisting lunge interlock. On exhale, we're looking this left armpit over the right thigh. And then we move in for whatever degree of interlock is available. Breathing into the left side lung, left side shoulder blade. Feeling breath interior to the spine, upper back. And release. When we inhale and unwind, you'll find your roll. We're going to be doing some lying on a roll today. If that feels like a little bit much for whatever's going on in your life, you can always select a blanket or something softer. But I would go with the shapes round, and I would go with the texture soft. Okay. It can be interesting if you find the prop size that seems to nestle into the width of the hips. So you can start to feel the weight of your pelvis as it weigh kind of in an evenly distributed way across the roll. Does one side feel like there's more pressure on one half of your pelvis than the other side of the roll? Curl your right toes under and do a little leg traction. So remember that internal rotation? So I've got the toes curled under. I draw the heel back so the whole right leg moves back. And I'm going to rotate that thigh bone inwardly. Another way to think of it is heel out. And set that thigh down. That rotation of the thigh has a lot to do with the abdominals and the abdominal tissues. So let's do the other side. Curl the left toes under. Draw the heel back so the entire left leg back. Rotate that thigh bone inwardly, which you can do by tipping the heel out to your left. And set that thigh down. Breathing into whatever presents itself. Inhale, walk the hands under your chest. Exhale, press to your knees first, and then we'll press to downward dog. Right, bending elbows, turbo dog. As I bend, I'm feeling the armpit muscles, the armpit chest muscles engaging and pulling the shoulder blades slightly away from spine. Warrior one, inhale, left foot forward. And draw the arms up. Exhaling, Press. Feel the soles of the feet connecting to the ground. And once again, the interior of the spine, the gut side of the spine. Can you sense your breath in that low back gut area? There's just an enormous amount of bacterial colonies in this part of the body. And when those bacterial colonies have been repopulated, maybe there's just different amounts of less beneficial bacteria growing or moving through the colon, we'll feel those effects. Bacterial byproducts have a unique sense in the body. Kind of a, what do we call? Have a little bit of a cytotoxicity. So sometimes when bacterial colonies start like having a party, to put it in a very unsophisticated way, we can feel that in our tissues, we can feel that in our joints. So it's one of those funny little things. We can attune to the colonies, the bacterial party being thrown in our guts, and that's pretty awesome. All right, twisting warrior. On exhale, we'll hook this right arm over the left thigh. Many people will feel those changes in bacterial colony as muscular stiffness. So I just find it very interesting when people want to address muscle stiffness. I always just want to ask, what's a little deeper than the muscle? Because it's not always muscle that leads to muscle stiffness. In fact, it's rarely muscle stiffness leading to muscle stiffness. So inhaling into the inside of the spine, right between the guts and the spine. There you go. Really soft, letting each exhale be like a sighing gesture of, oh, there you go. There it is. Inhaling, when we unwind, we'll set the right knee down, extra padding, as we set up for heel to butt lunge. There you go. Right knee padded, right hand, grab right foot. And gently lifting low back away from the pelvic floor. Mid-spine away from low back. Feeling that wash of breath extend all the way up to the armpit, all the way up to that chest wall. You can feel that from pelvis to chest wall. That's it, Tara, that's it. Good. When we release, setting the right foot down, the back slightly up for twisting lunge interlock. Exhaling the right arm over the left thigh. There you go. Good. And can you feel that breath all the way into the right back of ribs? And you feel that breath at the top lobe of the lung. And I realized there had been some fires at least a month ago in Canadian, and so something I've been noticing is with the fires from Canada, like fires from the Northwest, you know, weeks later, even months later, we might still be feeling that effect in our mucosa lining. And some of us are coastal, some of us are Midland America. It still gets to us. That stuff moves basically west to east, but it is still possible to feel those effects of fire. So I've just kind of added that into my body scan. Is also just what are the winds like? What are the winds bringing us? There's no doubt that becomes part of our landscape. Inhale, we'll unwind. Hands to floor, exhale, chaturanga. Oh, we need that roll. So we'll set the knees down, we'll grab the roll. Aha, I didn't forget. So do a little chest opener or bow over roll. Leave the right hand down. Left hand, reach back, grab left ankle. Okay. Now please know that you can work this as subtly and as softly as you need to. So if what you need is minimal back bend, then just reach the hand back and remain low. Deep breaths. I'm going to talk us into more of a lengthening back bend. So I inhale, keeping the thighs on the ground. I let the left hand draw the left hand and chest up. Now I'm floating off my right elbow. Exhaling, melt chest, guts, chest forward. Let the breath move in easily. And release. We're going to remain here because we will do the other side. Again, this can be as mild as you need it to be. This time the left arm remains down, the right hand, grab right ankle. Feel for softening the gut side of the spine. Feel for breathing into those colonies of bacteria. So you're actually breathing. You can communicate with your own bacterial gut colonies. Why not have a little communication with them? There's more of them than there is of us. There's more bacteria than there are human cells in the body. So you probably need to have a good relationship with those bacteria. Is good. There you go. That's it. Exactly, right? And then let's release that. Oh, setting that right foot down. Inhale, moving the hands under the chest. Take your time. Exhale, pressing to the knees. Take another deep breath. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward, archer warrior. If you like your strap, grab it with the left hand. Lower it to the right. Or left elbow up, right elbow down. I'm trying to visit these areas of the body preemptively this week, so you can slip right into this back bend later in the week with some ease. Inhaling. Lift gently through the spine, through the cartilage, the discs, letting the gut soften. Exhaling, pressing out through the legs, lifting up through the left side chest wall, left shoulder. And release. You can set that strap right beside your mat. Twisting warrior interlock. We're going. We're going in, folks. Inhale that left arm up. And now exhale that left armpit over right thigh. Right hand behind back. And left arm either under thigh or grab some clothing as prop. Release. Inhale, hands to ground, step the right foot back, setting knees down. Grab your roll. There's just be this side and one other side of roll work, just in case you're keeping count. All right. So I'm taking that strap, looping it around the left foot. So bow of the strap over roll, just one side at a time. Now, before you move in, if you really like that rotation of the thigh, you can do it with the right side. You can reach back through the heel, roll the thigh bone inwardly, place the thigh down. It's a little different with the left side. You gotta, set it up. And setting the right arm down, inhale. Lifting up. The foot helps draw the hand up. And I did mean up as in toward the sky. Exhaling, a slight bend in that left elbow, and reach that elbow forward as the knuckles reach up. This is where that gesture of softening may come in much more lovingly and usefully than all of our willpower and athleticism. When it comes to guts, I find that soft, resilient, like attach, detach, connect, let go. That's a really important move for the gut. And release. Inhale, we'll move the hands under the chest. Exhale, press to knees. Downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward, archer, warrior. The right hand lowers the strap to the left hand, or right elbow up, left elbow down. You know, there's so beautiful thing about our practice that works with and respects the energetic body is intrinsically it just makes us responsible creators. We can be a participant in creating freedom of body, a living body of wisdom and being. Right? So every breath is a choiceful design moment if we want that. So this next breath can be helping to design what is that energy I most want to host or circulate? I can start to breathe that in. These poses are just tools. They're just tools. Artistic tools. Go ahead and feel for that lift right through that same area of the back, like that. It's that little, there you go. Yeah. It's that little, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Feel that back right by that left wrist. It's neat. All right, we'll release that strap. You know what's next. Twisting warrior interlock. We're hooking that right armpit over the left thigh. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing requires strain. And release. Inhale as we unwind. This is that last side as promised. We'll set the knees down, grab your roll, your strap. And the loop is for the right foot and the right hand. You can set those thigh bones, you can traction them back. That feels to me like it kind of takes some of the slack away from the pelvis and off the belly. And when you're ready, there is no time like the experiential bodily present. So let us keep the thighs down, inhale. Up we go. Letting your breath be a part of freeing up the body. I find there's a strong correlation when we experience motion, movement. Therein, we often can experience freedom, unburdened, an unburdened body. And we'll consider an exit. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhaling, we'll press to knees, press to downward dog. And let's set the knees down. We'll have a seat, and we'll use shoelace. Let's set up the left leg bottom, right leg top. Shoelace. Now that we have this left leg kind of pinned, we'll side bend away from there. Right hand to the ground, inhale, pick that left arm up. And again, the side bend is with the intent of helping us find relief around the back. So as you exhale, side bend in the direction that helps you go, that feels really sweet on my back. It's actually looking for the sweetness. So again, no strain. You don't have to pull. You don't have to strain. You don't have to make stretch happen. You don't even have to make release happen. You can even press yourself slightly out of the depth of your side bend if that feels sweeter. Inhale, bring that left hand down, walk both hands centrally. And 2 deep breaths into the back side of body. Right. When we walk up, we'll switch sides. Shoelace, right leg on bottom, left leg on top. Side bend. Inhale, left hand to ground, right arm up. And then as you're exhaling, you're just hunting for that sweet spot. Again, sweet spot is so that we can just check in with our back, the interior side of the back, those thicker connective sheaths, and the more surface area of our back, the corset, the lumbar, the hip. Inhale, bring the right hand down, walk the hands centrally. Fold or partial fold. Using the low belly muscles to exhale. And inhale, walk your way up. Let's rest. So please unwind for Shavasana. And part of our artistry as human beings is our perception. How we receive energy, communication through this body, how we interpret that, how we express it, how we reflect it. And I offer that these moments in Shavasana are ways to choicefully perceive the body as living, brilliant, and free. Even if that only means I can feel that in one little cubic inch of the body, then I can still exercise my creativity and artistry and seeing that one little square inch of body, cubic inch of body as brilliant, luminescent, free. I can choose to view this body as capable, a capable healer unto itself. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. Just seated. Namaste.